The hidden tomb of Moses. The grave no one has ever found. What if one of the most important people in history was buried, but no one knows where? No ancient monument, no marked grave, no confirmed archaeological discovery. For more than 3,000 years, the final resting place of Moses has remained one of history's greatest mysteries. Millions of people know his story. The man who confronted Pharaoh, the leader who guided the Israelites out of Egypt, the prophet who received the 10 Commandments. But when it comes to his burial, the Bible leaves us with one of its most intriguing mysteries. Why was Moses buried in secret? Who buried him? And why has no one ever found his tomb? Let's uncover one of the Bible's greatest unsolved mysteries. The final chapter of Moses' life is recorded in the book of Deuteronomy. After leading the Israelites through the wilderness for 40 years, Moses climbed Mount Nebo. From its summit, he looked across the promised land. It was the land he had spent his entire life leading his people toward. Yet according to the biblical account, Moses would never enter it. Instead, God allowed him only to see it from a distance. Then the story takes an unexpected turn. Deuteronomy tells us that Moses died in the land of Moab. But what comes next is unlike the burial of almost anyone else in the Bible. The text says that he was buried in a valley in Moab. Then it adds one remarkable sentence. No one knows his burial place to this day. That single statement has fascinated readers for thousands of years. Why would the burial place of one of history's greatest prophets remain hidden? Who buried him? The biblical account gives an extraordinary answer. It suggests that God himself oversaw Moses' burial. Unlike kings whose tombs became famous, or prophets whose resting places were remembered, Moses' grave disappeared into history from the very beginning, and that mystery has never been solved. Over the centuries, countless theories have emerged. Some believe the location was intentionally hidden to prevent people from turning Moses' tomb into a place of worship. Throughout history, sacred sites have often become destinations for pilgrims. Some scholars suggest that hiding Moses' grave protected future generations from placing too much focus on the burial site instead of God's message. Others believe the location was simply forgotten over time. The region where Moses died contains mountains, valleys, and rugged landscapes that have changed dramatically over thousands of years. Without a marker, even an important burial could eventually disappear. But the mystery doesn't end there. One of the Bible's most unusual passages appears in the New Testament. The Epistle of Jude briefly mentions a dispute involving the Archangel Michael and the devil over the body of Moses. The verse provides almost no details. It simply states that a disagreement took place. Why would there be a dispute over Moses' body? What exactly happened? The Bible doesn't explain. That silence has fueled centuries of speculation. Some ancient traditions suggest Moses' body held unique significance because of his role in God's plan. Others see the passage as symbolic rather than literal. To this day, no single explanation has gained universal acceptance, and perhaps that's exactly why the mystery continues. Many explorers and archaeologists have searched for clues. Mount Nebo, located in present-day Jordan, has become one of the locations most closely associated with Moses' final days. Every year, thousands of visitors stand on its summit, looking across the same landscape Moses is believed to have seen. But despite decades of research, no confirmed tomb has ever been discovered. Some researchers have proposed nearby valleys. Others believe the grave lies beneath centuries of erosion. Some think it may never be found at all. Another fascinating question concerns Moses himself. Why was he not allowed to enter the Promised Land after leading the Israelites for 40 years? According to the biblical narrative, Moses disobeyed God's instruction during one event in the wilderness. As a consequence, he was permitted to see the Promised Land, but not to enter it. For many readers, this moment is one of the most emotional scenes in the entire Bible. A leader who devoted his life to a mission, only to stop at its very edge. Yet the story doesn't end with disappointment. Instead, it ends with mystery, a hidden grave, a mountain, and unanswered questions that have lasted for millennia. Interestingly, Moses' influence did not end with his death. His life continued to shape Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. he remains one of the most respected figures in religious history. And perhaps that makes the absence of his tomb even more remarkable. Think about it. The burial places of kings have been discovered. Ancient emperors have left magnificent tombs. Even forgotten rulers have left behind monuments. Yet the resting place of Moses, one of history's most influential prophets, remains unknown. Some believe this was intentional. They argue that Moses' true legacy was never meant to be a monument of stone. It was the message he left behind. Others continue searching, hoping that one day archaeology may uncover new evidence. But after thousands of years, no discovery has provided a definitive answer. Perhaps the greatest lesson of this mystery is that not every question from history has a physical answer. Sometimes the mystery itself becomes part of the story. And in the case of Moses, that mystery has endured longer than most civilizations. His grave may be hidden, but his story has never been forgotten. And maybe that's exactly the point. So now we'd like to hear from you. Why do you think the tomb of Moses was kept secret? Was it hidden to protect its sacredness, lost to time? Or is there another explanation we have yet to discover? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below.
If you enjoy exploring mysterious stories from history, religion, and ancient civilizations, subscribe to the channel.
Because some of history's greatest mysteries are still waiting to be uncovered.